Hey folks, it's Scott at the X-Fed Homestead. Well, summer's in full swing now, and you probably can't tell by my videos because of my computer meltdown. I have a lot of video that I taped, but I haven't had a lot of time for editing it. So the videos that I've gotten out are actually several weeks old, and to bring you up to speed is probably going to take more time editing than I have. You might have noticed that there was a 10-day or so period I didn't post any videos not too long ago, and well, we had taken our first trip overseas in 30 years together. My wife and I. It had been a long time since we traveled overseas together. I've been all over the world with my work, but last time I went with my wife overseas was in 1993. So it'd been a long time coming, and we went to Italy and had a ball, brought our kids and their girlfriends. It was a great time. But now it's the beginning of July, and from looking at my video, you may think I have no gardening underway practically, but that couldn't be further from the truth. If you take a look over here, the garden's in full swing. The whole garden is popping out vegetables, and I want to show you and give you a quick garden tour so you can see yourself what's going on. If you're looking into the backyard from the house, this would be the left side of the garden, and my garden's in two parts, really, left and right. I've got a pathway going down the middle, and I've planted every row out. At the beginning of the garden on the left side, I've got some zinnias, and then we roll into some cabbage, just a few of them. I had some extras. I would have planted them under the cloth over here, but I had some extras. I planted them outside of that. Then we've got some great kale, some rainbow chard after that, and then a whole variety of lettuces down here to the end of the row. Some of those are bolting now that it's hot, and it has been hot, and so they bolt very easily, but I'm trying to do more succession planting, planting, so I'm going to take that area of the row and try to plant some more things. And underneath here, I'll get up a little closer in a minute, but underneath the row cover, we've got broccoli, a bunch of different kinds of broccoli, and I'll show you that now. Well, starting at the end of the row, I have some nice broccoli going. I've picked a little bit of it, but the heads are really small, and they almost look like side shoots. They don't really grow in one big clumpy head, but this is a brand that I thought I'd give a try, and I don't think I'll get it next year. Next to it's the purple broccoli, and you can see that purple color in it, but once you cook it, it turns green, I'm hearing. So I'm gonna pick all of this tonight and see if any of it comes back at all, but it comes in just dribs and drabs, no big heads there either. Next in line, I've got what I'm looking for. This is some broccoli with some big heads. You can see over here, look at that. That's beautiful. That's exactly what we want. I'm gonna get those. Start picking those. There's some more. Fantastic. That's a good one. Next to the broccoli, I've got potatoes, and they look great. You can see down the row here. I'll show you from a different angle. These are my Yukon Gold potatoes, and I've got 2/3 of a row of Yukon Golds, and they were standing straight up just the other day. They're about 2.5 feet, maybe a little more high, And they're now just getting to the point where they're falling off into the row. You can see the row between the potatoes and the onions. And they're just starting to spread out a little bit. But they are looking good. Down at the very end, you can see right here is the russet potatoes. And they have a different texture and a different color to their fern, but they are doing equally as well and growing very nicely. At the beginning of this row, right where the onions are some volunteer potatoes from last year. They were all over the place, and they're still popping up here and there where I didn't uncover all the potatoes. But look at those onions. They're 2 feet high, and I can go around and pick some onions anytime I want, but I'm gonna let them keep going. Next to the onions are my carrots, and I've got 4 different kinds of carrots. These are Caravelle carrots up close. I have Imperator, rainbow carrots, and Bolero carrots. 4 different kinds, and they're doing great in here. Let me show you something you can't see from this particular angle. Here you can see where I sowed them a little thinner. I put down boards between the carrots, and this was to keep down the weeds and keep down, while they were young, keep down the weed pressure and the pressure on me to weed the carrots. Now there's still a little weeding to be done. You can't see it, but there are boards in between all of these rows. So if I dig in here a little bit, you're gonna see there's a piece of pallet right there in between these rows, and it keeps the weeds down nicely. I could probably pull those out and I'll be just fine. Now that the canopy has developed, the canopy will keep down the weeds as well. But that is a beautiful row of carrots. And next to the carrots, I got my sweet potatoes that I started from slips. These have just started to take hold. I had them in, it was really dry for a week or so, and then we got some rain and they started to really take. So I don't know how these are gonna do this year, but these are the Beauregard slips, and over here I have the Japanese sweet potato slips that are looking a lot stronger. So they have a nice deep green color, and it looks like they've really taken root, and the foliage is starting to explode this week. And at the very end, I've got another group of volunteer potatoes. Can't wait to see what kind those are. On the right side of the garden, I have to complete the fencing project, of course. You can see the corner post down here, and I'm gonna bring that right up to where the gate's gonna be, next to this tall post here. I've got to plant another one right here. There's a hole already started there. I'll work on that, but I've been focusing on the vegetables. So here's some squash I planted in this row, and down at the end I got a package of corn, but there were only 20 seeds in it, and the rabbits had a few of them, which is another reason for me to finish that fence. But next to it is the okra, which is looking really good right now. So that's going to grow big and strong. The rabbits leave that alone. And right here, for the first time, you can see, if I dust off my sign, there are leeks. And they're tiny right now, but they're hanging in there. And I don't know how well you can see, but there are some leeks coming up. And I weeded it, and I put down some grass as mulch all over the garden this week. So I've been busy. And you can see as I back up here, the fennel has taken root. And you can see that looks real fennel-y, I guess I would say. So it's looking like fennel. I grew fennel for the first time last year, and my wife went bananas over it. So here it is again. And then to complete the row, we've got the beets. So those golden beets are looking strong. So I'm really pleased with how things are taking root. Next to that, I have a variety of tomatoes. And the thing I did differently this year is I used a fence to help trellis the tomatoes. So here's my 5-foot fence going all the way down. And where I ran out of fence, I just went and used good old T-posts. So I've got a mystery tomato here that my wife's cousin gave to me. Tony swears by these, and I planted them and they're looking good. I've got San Marino tomatoes. What else have I got here? I've got the Amish paste tomatoes. I've got a big beef right here. Look at that. They're already going. There's another big beef right there. So there's Amish paste, and I have the Roma paste tomatoes right over here. And then after that, I have the Sun Gold tomatoes. You can see I've pruned them, and they are starting to come by. So that will be great. Here's a better branch of Sun Gold right there. There's start. And at the end, I planted some nasturtium. And here's some more. I'm told it has some bug resistance. I'm not too sure, but I'm planting them there anyway. So I started a bunch of cucumbers indoors, and I've never had good luck with starting my own cucumbers. But here we are. I planted 10 plants, and 5 of them survived. With the cucumber, I don't know if you can see here, we're getting some insect damage from the squash bugs that are popping up here and there. They're going after the cucumbers and they're going after the squash down at the end there. And so they're having a little bit of an effect. I've been trying to treat them. I'm going to spray with some peppermint tomorrow. I've been using some diatomaceous earth, but I don't see nearly as many as I saw last year. And these are my pickling cukes, which I already harvested for today. And you can see they are getting there. They're looking nice, strong right now. And the last part of this garden are a couple pepper plants that Tony gave me, cousin Tony, and those are doing well. And I've got some more zinnias over here. I planted more flowers this year than past years, and some zucchini, which are currently almost bug-free, but I don't want to say that too soon because the bugs will be here before you know it. And I've got squash down here, and that squash is going to move over into this area. I have an area just for it to spread out. And I think you can see in the background there, I have some hollyhocks that have just gone crazy this year. Look at that. And there are bees all over these things during the day. So you can see here the blueberries are just starting to pop. And I got to get some netting over here in the next couple days, because once those all turn blue, the birds will be after them. I've got, these aren't quite blue right here, but they are looking good. In the back of the garden, we have our raspberry bushes. And you can see the raspberries are just starting to come out. It's the first week of July, and look at that. That's nice. Here's a dark purple one right there. That's getting darker. So those will be good. Oh, correction, those are good. So you can see now as the sun's going down, you can see The berries are all starting to pop out. The only real blot on the garden right now is the strawberries. You can see the black landscaping fabric here and over here. I just haven't had time to take care of the strawberries. So next year I am probably going to exchange this black landscaping fabric and all these strawberries, exchange those for raised beds and start new with my strawberry patches. So I've got 50 feet on the right here and 50 feet on the left. So I've got some long and wide beds to build next year. So that's the plan. It's always good to have something to look forward to in the future. The apple orchard has 6 trees in it. I have 3 Macintosh apple trees and 3 Honeycrisp apple trees. The foliage has really gotten nice this past year. I did a bunch of trimming and pruning in the winter. And you can see right there, there's a nice apple coming. But I don't have very many apples on the tree this year. I don't know what the story was, whether it was a bee issue, pollinator issue, but hopefully I'm going to have to look forward to next year and continue pruning these apple trees so they stay in good shape. Well, that's not a bad harvest for today. Bunch of pickling cucumbers, some asparagus, a little purple broccoli. I don't know if I'll choose that next year, but some nice heads of broccoli. That's what we're looking for. Well, that's the garden tour this year, for the midsummer garden tour, I should say. We got a few vegetables that we're trying this year, the Japanese sweet potatoes. I've got actually 2 kinds of leeks that we're trying, and we're trying fennel again this year, which I think will be a success if I can keep the rabbits away from it. So I've got to finish up this fence. I'm going to dig some post holes now and keep the project moving forward, and I'm looking forward to some great harvests over the course of the rest of the summer. This is Scott at the XFed Homestead. We'll see you next time.